I talked to you the other day about how these panicked exclamations from the American right about the number of people who have, quote, lost their health care coverage as a result of the implementation of the Affordable Care Act are, number one, distractions, and number two, increasingly meaningless and deceptive based on any number of factors surrounding the circumstances where the policies available up until December 31st of 2013 were no longer viable, available policies as of January 1st, 2014. But I want to step back from the minutia of that conversation for a second and remind you about something else, a different program, a program called George W. Bush's Medicare. Okay. We hear day after day about the number of people, quote, losing their coverage under Obamacare, and by extension, that Obamacare is just a failed policy that never should have existed in the first place. But as John Pear writes on Daily Kos, the furious conservatives seem to be suffering from a particularly acute case of selective amnesia, because just 8 years ago this week, the calamitous launch of President Bush's Medicare prescription drug program left over 6 million previously insured seniors with no coverage. Hundreds of thousands more, Lewis, could not get their medications as problem-plagued government computer systems, confused insurers, and undertrained pharmacists left subscribers panicked and helpless. However, we didn't hear the same outrage from the right then that we do now. Even more mounting evidence, Lewis, of the complete double standard hypocrisy about the so-called loss of coverage under the Affordable Care Act.
Yeah, and you can talk about the merits of the program and discuss whether or not you think financially it's good for the country, and that involves a lot of detail. In reality, I think this really is just about having a black president.
Well, that's probably a part of it for some people. For others, it's just a matter of having a Democratic president, right? And when we look at the party lines on this, on so many issues, Republicans and Democrats are completely indistinguishable. But remember that back when those 6.4 million seniors no longer had their prescription drug coverage, as the New York Times reported on January 16th of 2006, many states, most of them led by Democrats, came to their rescue, whereas now with the Affordable Care Act, Republicans seem hell-bent on simply capitalizing and scoring political points based on the perceived failures of the Affordable Care Act, capitalizing politically rather than actually helping people. It's despicable, but to bring things back to where the two parties don't differ that much, we need to put aside the fact that Republicans are flat out acting in bad faith on this and renew the push and the discussion about universal health care, which is the way forward.
Right. I don't know how we're going to do that. I don't know how we're going to accomplish that. Even if both parties agreed on it, I think it would be almost impossible to get done. But I hope that at least with Vermont, we have some guidance.